So I'm trying to accelerate here. This is getting long. Last example, this is a brief one, H1N1 in Singapore. So if people are looking for you, looking for your content, looking for information about products and services, recommendations, reviews, how do they find it today? Well, search. Google, right? Well, Google is just one of the tools that's being used. Now, search has grown up. The number 2 search engine in terms of available content today is now YouTube. And I started watching what goes on in coffee shops around the university. Students are searching YouTube. They tend to prefer the video content over the textual content. And now we have Twitter and the whole issue of real-time search. And here's why that's important to you. H1N1 in Singapore. 5th case. Now this is an issue close to my heart because the first case in Singapore was associated with my university and my area. So this is very close to home. This is the 5th case. I did a Google search, just a general Google search, H1N1 plus SMU, 2:30 p.m. is when we would have first gotten that information, okay? 2:30 p.m. A more specific Google search, 5th H1N1 and SMU, 12:30 is when that came in. So a couple of hours earlier. It came through our hand phone at 11:48, but the first one showed up at Twitter at 9:30 in the morning. I think the conclusions are obvious for PR practitioners. Which one do you want to be? Morning, lunch, or late afternoon? Very easy. And I love newspaper. I love newspaper. I get up at 5:30, I make a coffee, and I read my newspaper before I do anything else. And my day is incomplete if I do not. But it would have been the next day if you're trying to represent your client. So I think all this means is that we have a changing role for some of the media. I strongly disagree with folks who would say that traditional media is becoming irrelevant. I strongly disagree with that. But I think the roles are changing. The roles are changing. So search, it is essential in this transmedia world. If we have so many more ways of finding content, how do we know where to go? You really need to manage the way people can find you. Very, very important. So as I wrap this up, think about the nature of knowledge and knowledge work today. Networks are critical, and I hope that Siak Siak's example shows how an independent film producer is going to be able to perform above her resources, above what you would expect because of the value of that network. But not all networks are going to be equal. Okay, we need to understand where people are going today, and in our market, go to those media destinations. We've got to pick the right ones. And those markets will differ, but we've seen from Lenovo that you can adapt and you can work across the markets. How many organizations today don't work across the markets? I get the star in Singapore. It works across markets. Transmedia consumption is the reality. You need to have a media strategy that recognizes that, and that media strategy must include search, because this is how you get the information that your knowledge workers need, but it's also how people are going to find your products and your services. And if we don't, I'll just simply end with this quote. Keep this in mind. If you don't like change, you're going to like irrelevance even less. So with that, I apologize for running over time. Thank you very much.